Where's the audio? Oh, there's bird noises. I guess the music must have just stopped. Hello, Nid. Whoop. And Yelan hanging from the birdhouse. We're back with Genshin. My voice is feeling fine. I didn't do any damage to my throat for talking for 6 hours straight. Talking for 6 hours straight is different from doing voices for 6 hours straight. My voice is fine. Can I actually... Hang on.
Navigating the world is a whole lot easier.
Right, you can't even save these up over time. Barely. So you can, like, build up commission points, but they don't stick around. Let me see, am I able to claim rewards for doing shit? Because I didn't do my dailies after I ended the stream last night. I just want to see how this works. Because I've yet to use this feature. The music was playing earlier? Okay. So, okay. According to the game, you can, if you do missions and not your dailies, you save up points here. If I click Y... Now. 139.3. Yeah? Once you reach your daily encounter point limit, any further points will be converted to long-term encounter points. They'll be stored and not reset along with daily commissions. If your daily encounter points are not full, you can expend original resin to convert... Fuck that. To convert long-term encounter points and make up for the shortfall of it. So, right, you have to use resin in order to turn these encounter points into your daily points. Ugh. Hope they rework that. That's stupid. It's actually stupid. You like, oh yeah, I know that you are doing extra stuff per day, and you want to use these points to so you don't have to do a daily grind as much. But here, we're gonna also make you spend resin on it. You know, the thing that is used for everything in the game, every single thing. Anyway, I'm hoping there's not a lot of talking. But we're gonna do, I think, Kirara's quest. Okay, Nid, you've done this before. What should I do first? Kirara's quest or the Kale thing in Sumeru? I'll let you decide, because I have no idea what is what. This is Kale's thing, like, super quick, or are they both, like, kind of equal length, and is one more relevant than the other? I assume Kirara's is, but I don't know. Stop telling me about overflowing that. I get it. Kirara's would be first, better?
So, are you all set? Ready to start investigating?
I'm ready to start listening. Yeah, I'm gonna give myself credit, because I streamed for 6 hours yesterday, and I did a lot of fucking talking, and I don't actually remember, like, flubbing too much on my words. And typically, that happens a lot, where I'll just be sitting there, and I'll just have over a sentence. Or I'll misread something 3 times in a row, and I'll have to take a drink to fucking hydrate or something. So I'll give myself credit for that. But I'm looking forward to just listening to this story. We're all good.
Great! Then let's go!
Nope.
I've delivered packages all over, but I've never seen a mysterious fairy tale world like this before.
Sorry, I'm just picking flowers.
Looks like nobody has gotten around to repairing this house yet. Ugh, Even I wouldn't dare to sleep in there. It might suddenly collapse in on you. Nothing to see here either. Maybe we can find someone to ask? Aha! Over there! I bet we'll find some people there. Let's go take a look.
After you, yeah.
You wanna check out the area over there? Okay, I'll wait here
I
for
was
you.
just looking. Sorry, go ahead.
Uh-huh. I was sure there'd be people here.
Worst flub I remember was because there was an actual spelling error. Yeah, I think it was all instead of R. I got real snippy about it. It's like, fucking fix the game. Patch it now. And it'll be gone in 3 days, but patch it now.
There once was a goddess who ruled over fate.
Uh-oh.
Before she died, she left 3 riddles for the kingdom she had created.
It's a Brit. The most scary of all people.
What? Who said that?
If Star Wars has taught me anything, at least.
Long story short, on this day, a sentient feline, an outlander, and a diminutive pixie arrived on the scene. They saw a narrow path off to the side.
Did they soar it?
Okay, but which side? Yeah, if you gave ambiguous instructions like that to a Comania Express courier, they'd give you the parcel right back and tell you to write the delivery address more clearly.
Despite how obvious the answer was, the perplexed pixie and the flummoxed feline struggled to work it out. Although, perhaps a small part of the blame could be attributed to my dull narration. Alright, let's try this again. The path on the left-hand side seemed to give off an enticing fragrance, as if to say, this is the way to wealth and glory.
Stanley Parable-esque narrator.
Ooh, that sounds like the start of a good story. Then what? Then what?
Stanley went to the left. Actually, he decided to ignore those instructions and be a little shit. How about that, Stanley? The left, you say?
At the end of the path, the motley crew would soon spot a secret stone room. A prophecy had once foretold of a Marquis who shall one day venture inside, and thus it is named the future Marquis's abode to be. You like it? The future Marquis's abode to be? Got a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
That was a little bit boastful.
But before you continue, I must warn you of the danger that lies ahead. For example, under no circumstances should you sit on the chair in the center. Otherwise, the consequences could be a bit embarrassing.
So he wants me to sit on the chair over there. He didn't say anything about me just walking away, right? This isn't a Stanley Parable situation where he's like, oh, they decided to fuck off. And come back later when their mind was cleared. Oh, and they decided to come back. Oh, and they left again. They got tired of going back and forth until eventually they decided to come back. Oh, it's underneath, I bet. Bye.
So many summers, winters, springs, and falls, and now at last a hero hither strides.
This realm knows not what lies beyond its walls. Its secrets mystify the world outside.
Wait, new voices. Who are they?
Same guy. Don't sit on the chair. Oh, because there's glue on it.
Stop the poem. We have a situation. Something's up with this person.
Traveler? Are you alright?
Turns out there's glue. You try to stand up, but the glue is holding you firmly in place.
Come on, you can do it! This can't be how our story ends!
Try to stand up. You manage to partially unstick yourself. The issue isn't that you can't break free, it's more that you don't want to tear your clothes in the process. They mean a lot to you.
Can I give you a hand, or a tail, even?
Keep trying to stand up. You finally free yourself and stand up, clothes intact. Why they put glue there? I knew it. I knew it was gonna happen. Glue ending. So Stanley sat there until he died. He had not thought to take his pants off at any point. He decided to starve to death in his pants. But at least he had his dignity. In the name of the elders of our 3 tribes, we hereby form this pact that from this day forth our people shall harm one another no more. No more shall we drip glue into each other's breakfasts, nor strike each other's heads with pickaxes, nor secretly drink growth serum that does not belong to us. We acknowledge the truth that has been determined by the great clockwork key, and we shall see the family of truth as supreme. 3 witnesses to history, within the future Marquis's abode to be, quietly awaiting the Marquis of Carabas, who is foretold will pluck up the great clockwork key, as was foretold by the prophecy. Let this esteemed one guide us, revealing one truth and 2 fictions. Of course, if the highest house has not been selected, then we may not yet contend in private. Within permissible limits, but no more glue. It does far too much harm, and is utterly inhumane. Pranksters!
Captain with wood and earthenware strewn all around, the demon feline's fury can't be quelled. Reducing them to rubble on the ground, she finds the vessel's vacant save for... air?
She finds long gone the gems that once they held.
Are they describing how we broke the boxes and jars?
Oh!
Who are you calling demon feline?
They're actually acknowledging...
Namely, to remove the clockwork key from the raised platform up ahead.
Cabe, I just realized you said we all had to speak like bards, but every time...
I didn't do
Perhaps
anything.
the Outlanders are worried that something drastic will happen the moment they remove it. Maybe that's why they're investigating the area thoroughly first. Can't fault them for that. I'm wondering if we can take advantage of this downtime to discuss what...
With wood and earthenware strewn all around, the demon feline's fury can't be quelled, reducing them to rubble on the ground.
No, you don't. I wrote that line. Don't start plagiarizing me just because you can't take a bit of criticism.
Look, let's not put form over content here. It's not about the rhymes. It's about making sure the Outlanders focus on the clockwork key on that platform.
I told you already, stop calling me demon feline!
Yeah, I noticed that too. It's one standard for us and another for you. That's not fair, Cape.
I'm gonna keep breaking boxes. I'm surprised that they actually had voice lines for...
As the Outlander stands before the clockwork key, they're overcome by a sudden urge to set it free. Also, Cape, that'll be my last rhyming line. I'm not writing any more poetry until you apologize.
What does it matter anyway? I've lost count of how many people have tried this before. No one's getting that key out.
Oh, hey. Oh. Just goes around. Just see if there's any other dialogue for mucking about some more. Any more boxes to break? He sat in all the chairs.
Take it easy.
Pull hard.
Strong as stone, firm as steel, the Outlander pulls, but it does not yield.
This has happened many times before, but this time is different. A thought enters the Outlander's mind. Attack! Attack! First weaken the structure, then seize the treasure!
The attack now over! Only one final step remains.
Now it is the time to seize the key.
Yes! Finally! Come on, move your butts! And your legs, assuming they're still in working order. It's showtime!
No hard feelings about your lack of poetic contributions?
Oh, let it go!
These people talking? Yes, they are.
Ah! Welcome, esteemed and noble Outlander. Allow us to introduce ourselves.
We represent the 3 great clans of this realm, having been selected as its authorized historical supervisors.
Our purpose being to await the arrival of one such as yourselves who shall remove the clockwork key.
My name is...
You're Cape, he's Albizzi, and that's Bobarano, right? You've done so much talking that we can already tell you apart by your voices.
Aren't we missing someone, though? The guy who led us here to begin with?
Who?
Who?
And thus was born the long-awaited fellowship, destined to uncover the truth of the past. Allow me to quote, if I may, in the history of Constellation Metropole, a new page has begun.
Him.
Well, there's no fourth person, so which of you is the ventriloquist? Come on, out with it.
We've never heard that voice before, but he sounds like he'd be good at reading bedtime stories to children.
Well, whoever it is, I don't know and I don't care. Forget about him. We have far more important things to focus on. Like, where our journey goes from here.
That key you hold is the pivot point about which the past and present of the Metropole revolve. However, between our 3 clans, there is some dispute over the historical record.
Each clan has its own version of history, detailing the clan's origins and the tale of the Dragon of Old. And unfortunately, we don't know which one is the truth.
Dragon? You mean the one that's been acting up recently?
Oh, no, not that one, you adorable little pixie. When I say Dragon of Old...
He means a dragon that would be really, really old if it was still with us today, but it was defeated in ancient times. The new one has nothing to do with our clan history.
Was that supposed to be a joke? Anyway, so you've been waiting for someone to remove the key so you can finally explore the truth of the past?
Not just explore it, but argue incessantly about it. Honestly, I don't care that much. Cape's the one who's always bothering us about it.
What we need to figure out is who resolved the dragon crisis. We have to know that before we can decide which is the supreme clan.
The moment you removed the key from where it was lodged, you became the honorary Marquis. We humbly beseech you, noble Outlander.
Call me... Tim? The sorcerer? Call me Chrono. Or the Traveler, because you won't listen to that.
Noble Traveler
There it is.
Marquis, we ask you to help us. You and your talking Puss in Boots and the pale floating pixie.
Rude.
Puss in Boots? Are you serious? It's better than Demon Feline, but still...
Embrace it, my friend, embrace it. Most cats don't wear boots or speak, do they?
I'm not even a cat, I'm a Nekomata! Now that you know the word, I expect you to use it.
Please allow me to lead you all to a sacred memorial site. It will be much easier to explain what needs to be done once we are there.
Going to ignore you. Capet leads the party to the so-called sacred memorial site.
This place is sacred to my clan. It's where our brave forefathers once took up arms against the Dragon of Old. After a bitter battle that dragged on for many days and nights, finally, our forefathers fought the dragon into submission, and it fled. They took turns, though. Some forefathers worked the day shift, while others worked the night shift.
Let me check something real quick. We just had a black screen with white text. I'm going to use the review thing. And this doesn't keep track of it. Yeah, scene switched. So you don't get to see it. It's a good thing I read it, but this is not without its problems. You still can't see if it was the last thing of a previous scene, or if it was the last thing in a scene in general. So those black screens with the white text are still missable in a lot of ways. So they worked shifts while the poor dragon had to work around the clock?
So they say. It's just a legend, though.
Wait a second? Did I just hear you admit that your clan's history is just a legend?
The dialogue review could still be better. Yeah, there's still a few tweaks to this game. It has had a lot of quality of life stuff recently. Still a few tweaks. Especially around artifacts. Still could use some work.
History, legend, who cares? My clan was definitely courageous, that's the point. That's the truth. And isn't the truth what we've all been arguing about non-stop for all these years?
Capet's words gave the traveler food for thought. Could it be that the truth in a fictional world is equivalent to fiction in the real world?
Oh, we could also use some more melanin in this game. Like, big time.
But that would have to wait. Apparently, Capet was not alone in his pilgrimage to this sacred site. Unwanted company had arrived. The traveler and the talking cat, Necomata, decided to teach them some manners.
The narrator learned. Oh. We'll use Kirara. So she just attacks with her claws.
Wow. A true display of heroism and valor. It was as if the spirits of my ancestors were fighting through you.
Here's a thought.
Here's a thought.
Your martial prowess and show of
Is this gonna hurt
courage
us?
are more vivid reenactment
Okay, good.
of my ancestors' feats that suit the modern aesthetic.
I remember when this game would let you die during a cutscene. I was on Dragon Spine, and there was a cutscene, and my character started freezing to death, and they started dying off one by one mid-cutscene. And I had to skip dialogue because my characters were freezing to death one by one. They fixed it since. But that was a problem at one point.
Now, let's get down to business.
What do you mean artifacts are perfect? There's no issue with grinding. So, in case you don't know, in Zenless Zone Zero, they already have an item in the game that lets you tweak the artifacts, whatever they call them in that game. They let you tweak them. They let you change a stat on it. I don't know if it's a main stat or a substat, but you can take an artifact and you can change one of the stats on it. Say, like, if you have a defense on it and you don't want defense, you can swap it with something else. And that's in Zenless Zone Zero at launch, which means that they know that it's a problem, and maybe they'll put it in this game at some point. I have a ton of artifacts that have, like, one stat that I don't want. Tons. And that would help big time. But unfortunately, they know how much people want it, and that item is very expensive with the in-game currency. Like, it's weeks of in-game currency to get. So they're not going to let us have it for free. It's probably going to be as rare as crowns.
As we all know, time is but an illusion. Time may
Is this guy
flow
T-posing?
line by line, page by page, or frame by frame, but usually it flows in the form of springs and gears.
Is the red guy T-posing off screen right now?
And
Oh, no, he
that
was just-
clockwork key you have in your hand can turn back time and make the past
He
reappear.
was just pointing his arm for some reason.
Well, actually, my view is that the illusion of time is more of a problem of consciousness. Gears power the body, while the body is the vessel of the conscious mind. But the mind cannot understand the dimension of time, so we experience instead an endless continuum of moments as the pinion of now turns along the rack of ages.
Listen, I'll wax poetic about time this, time that, but shut up.
I'm getting flashbacks to when I was delivering packages to the Sumeru Academia.
A teacher once asked Albizzi what his greatest fear was, and he replied, dragons. Boberano was asked the same question. He replied, time, and repeated the argument we just heard. The teacher then turned to Cape and posed the same question. He replied, Boberano.
The manuscript that tells the truth of the historical record, the blueprint to all of creation, the work of the great mage themselves. It can be found at the beginning of the Girac, and on the very first page of the book.
I agree that more melanin is needed. There's one character being teased for Natlan that I think would just look better with their design, even if they were even a bit darker. I think I've seen this before. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it on other social media, but like I firmly believe that most character designs can be improved with melanin. Just get a little bit of that, yeah, just a shade darker, maybe a couple shades, maybe a few dozen shades darker. But yeah, Natlan is based in this world's version of Mexico or Spain, at countries that are primarily dark-skinned people, just like Sumeru was, and there was a whole thing with that. This is like one of their last chances to do something like this, because after that it's like Russia. It's Snezhnaya, and that's just a bunch of white people again. Yeah. They just look better, man. They're so much more interesting.
Paimon didn't follow all that, but basically, you're just saying that we need to put the key in and turn it all the way back?
Not to mention, if they're going to take inspiration from cultures, whether it be music, costume design, architecture, like character and like lore and stories and religion, it's like all that shit, but then you're not going to, like, I don't know, make the people look like the people as well? It's just a little fucked. It's fucked.
Exactly. It is said that in the beginning, the goddess of creation took the goddess of fate's manuscript as a blueprint, placed it under the goddess of prophecy's starry realm, and generated the world from a few magic arrays.
It's a weird place to stop, is all I'm saying.
So in a few moments, when the great clockwork key turns the local time here back to the very beginning, we will restore the magic arrays back to their original configurations.
Hold on, isn't stealing part of the blueprint of creation a little dangerous? Also, how are we supposed to know the original configurations of the magic arrays?
Well, the general shapes of the configurations have been passed down over the ages. They now form the family crests of each of our clans. So you'll just need to reference my family crest and join the dots accordingly.
And then Sapphire also mentioned that one of the darker skinned people in the game got fucking done dirty. Dia. Possibly the worst example of like a 5-star character being like fucking shafted hard. And it sucks. I believe that she was a 4-star character with a 5-star design, and they shifted and they said like, yeah, she's a 5-star, knowing that people would buy her and buy Primo Gems to pull for her, but they didn't adjust her kit at all, and so she performs like a 4-star character. That's what I think. That's my belief. But they could have done the same thing they did with Zhongli, which they released him, he sucked ass, and they fixed him. They made him one of the best characters in the game.
To address your other concern, when the house has already been built, do you really think that taking away the construction crew and blueprint will cause it to collapse?
The Traveller Marquis prepares to insert the great clockwork key into the nearby keyhole.
All I gotta do is put the thing in the hole and do the thing, right? Oh, weird. Open it up to view hints. Are they telling me that there's a picture to look at to get a hint on this quest? Or to this? That's the first time I've seen, like, maybe it's not the first time, but the screen, like, focusing, like, hey, look at this. Look at me. Okay. How do I look at that? What's it? View the shape of valor. Open it to view hints. I know I have to do this. I know I have to operate this. I'm just wondering what it's asking me to do up at the top left. Complete the Oracle Pillar's picture. Open it to view hints. I think it's... I see. Now I see what they're talking about. But where's the quest item that he gave us? Should be here. Somewhere. Is there a timed quest item somewhere in here? I don't want to just guess at this. View the shapes of valor.
I guess we should start here?
Is she going to tell me the next one to go to? Yeah, that crest on that image that popped up? They didn't put it in my mail, right? No. Be crazy. It's crazy. Okay, where did they put that quest item? With the two crests. Is this it? No, it's Fortress of Meripede. Down here, right? Maybe? Yeah, how do I view the crest again? That image that there was there. It says narration footnotes right there. Oh my god. Hey, you. Hey, you. Hey, you. This isn't just me, right? This is like... Okay. I'm just gonna... Yeah, view the shape of valor. Okay.
Why don't you give it another try?
Actually linked the wrong ones. Just hit the Oracle Pillar and you can start over. You're talking about these. Hit these things. Yeah. I don't remember where it went, but it has somewhere to do with the duplicate. I checked it. It would be in the quest items area, I would assume. would be one of these rare ones, though. I like it. They just say, "Just check it, forehead." Oh my god. View the shape of valor. Do I need to fucking use a mouse and keyboard to click on this properly? Give me a sec. Is that actually what's going on? Did you see that? How do I do with that? How do I do that with a controller? First of all, I'm taking note of this. Okay, I got it. How do I do that with a controller? I need to know that now, because this seems like it's going to be a new mechanic. First of all, I'm mouse and keyboard. I hold Alt, and I can click on this. Okay. How the fuck do I do it with a controller? Okay. Maybe I need to hold, like... I clicked in the left stick. Where does it say click in the left stick? Let me check one thing before I start freaking out. It doesn't say anywhere on there that open up secondary menu or some shit. It just does not give me any feedback. Now I know. Click in the left stick. I thought something was up. I thought it was strange. They did not give me an item to inspect. Okay. Yeesh. It's nighttime. These guys are like, wow, we really picked the wrong person to do this. Oh, hey, you did it.
Behold, the sacred writings that record the truth of... No, wait. That have shaped the truth of history. Gather round and let us bear witness.
Oh god, a bear witness! I don't have my phone on me, so I can't do the bear with me joke. Here we go. Brave Francois mounted the haystack, picked up a fork, and planted it tines down atop the mountain of grass. Behind him was a large, bright moon. He shouted out the names of everyone in the village. The village chief was first to be named, and so frightened was he that he wished to climb up the haystack and stop up Francois's mouth. "Are you crazy? You're yelling so loudly the dragon might show up! You good-for-nothing! Have you not seen how the windmill everyone built has been destroyed by the dragon? And here you are, worrying if it'll return?" Francois really would have loved to kick him off the haystack, but held back given that the chief, too, was worried for the villagers' safety. Francois saw that nigh all the villagers had arrived, and so he cleared his throat. "Dear neighbors and kin, think you still that we must endure this?" "No, of course not, but we cannot do anything about the dragon," said the grocer. "Who says so? Did I not leap onto its neck from the windmill blades, stepping on it twice, and did it not fall down and flee? Perhaps everyone worked so hard to build the mill that was destroyed. Everyone's emotions became inflamed. Lifting up their fists, they decided to take on the dragon. But Francois lifted his own hands and calmed the crowd. Let us go home for today, everyone. Everyone's present lack of self-preservation is not bravery, but rather wrath. If we yet desire to face danger after calming ourselves, only then may we truthfully call our sentiment valor. So everyone went home. The next day, there were still many youngsters who wished to follow Francois to take on the wicked dragon. Who would have known that the valiant... that the valiant possessed the protection of the goddesses radiant charter, encountering true valor. The dragon could neither spout fire nor slash with claws, and was forced to allow the other party to call pauses and switch personnel. And so, after several days and nights of fierce fighting, the wicked dragon could no longer bear it, and chose to surrender. AA.
Feast your eyes, rejoice, and cheer, for this is the unquestionable truth. Look at the signature. Nobody is capable of forging that.
Man, this traveler's new. They can't even follow an image. How do I look at the image? Oh, I'll never tell.
I don't believe it. So, all along, our histories have been false?
Don't lose heart, Albizzi. It does not follow from his is true that ours are false.
That might be the most bogus logic I've ever heard. But keep up the mental gymnastics, Boberano. I've been waiting for that look of jealousy on your face my whole life, and I'm gonna savor it.
And yet, it seemed that this conundrum could indeed have more than one solution. Everyone agreed that there may be more than one truth. The party decided to visit the sacred sites of the other clans and see what their documents had to say.
Isn't a narrator supposed to remain detached and objective? It feels like you're forcing a narrative agenda on us. Well, whatever. I'm in a good mood. Let's do it. The instructions say to repeat the process 3 times, and besides, I'm looking forward to watching you both be sorely disappointed.
Let's do my clan next. I'll lead the way.
We'll need the key again, right? Let me see if I can pull it out. Yoink!
Did you see on the left side it said press left click to navigate? And now it's not there. Maybe I should have just been a gamer and started pressing buttons. And not blame the game. I think the problem is I played this game for, I don't know, probably close to 1,000 hours at this point. Maybe. Maybe. I've done so many quests and side quests. That's the first time I was like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to be doing here? These are not real chests. They're not real. They can't hurt you.
The party finds no pedestal in which to place the great clockwork key, only a locked door.
Where's your clan's pedestal? Oh, let me guess, you hid it away in advance to save yourself the embarrassment of having it exposed as a fake?
You done? Okay. Now, since my clan's main claim to fame is...
Misinformation, half-truths, and fabrication.
Ah, shut up, Cape.
Shut up, Cape.
Wow.
I swear, if I wind up dead one day, the murderer was Boberano. Let those be my last words.
My clan's claim to fame is that we outwitted the Dragon of Old and stole its treasure. Ergo, all articles of value that we own, including the pedestal for the clockwork key, lie behind that door.
So, next step is open the door?
Almost. There's one step before that. The door is protected by a smart interrogation system. We have to answer its questions, and if we get them wrong, we will alert law enforcement.
Jeez. Well, do you at least know the answers?
The correction fluid of time has dyed white the pages of the Book of Wisdom. No, I don't know the answers.
Time has whiteout.
But worry not. I had a quick word with the constabulary in advance. They'll ignore the alarm if we get the questions wrong, so answer without fear.
Okay. So you told the cops to ignore the alarms coming from this building. There's no response from the door and nothing unusual about it. Says the door. Knock on the door.
Question 1. Who is it?
Police, own up. We're here for a routine inventory check. What is your name? What is your quest? Chrono, Marquis, and her retinue.
The great yokai, Nekomata in boots.
And the trusty travel guide, Pixie! Travel guide. Trusty travel guide!
Question 2. By which virtue did the ancients defeat the dragon?
Oh, courage and strength? Hard work and wealth? Or wisdom? Based on the door that this belongs to, it's going to be wisdom.
If this is the right answer, I swear I'll...
Correct!
What? A barefaced lie. So low.
They programmed the door, dude. It's fine.
Question 3. Which is more real? The fiction of the outside world, or the truth of this world?
Perhaps both are equally real.
Hear, hear! Who can be sure that the outside world isn't just a dream, and that when the dreamer wakes up, they won't just find themselves inside a novel? There is no way to know, therefore both are equally real.
All correct. You may have the key pedestal.
The door opens and a puff of smoke wafts out. After the smoke clears...
Traveler Marquis, you know what must be done. Please insert the great clockwork key. Oh, and this is my family crest.
Review? Hey, there it is. The door opens and a puff of smoke wafts out. After the smoke clears, the pedestal appears. Okay. It's a question mark. Gotcha. Question mark, question mark.
Do we really need this one?
Correct. We don't.
Now, let me see what
elaborate fiction the Clan of Wisdom was able to conjure up.
If anyone's listening, I would like to submit these as my last words. I surrender. I'm the one who murdered Tabby.
Wise Antonio, in the basement of the crumbling house, began reading the ancient book he had found. His oil lamp shook from time to time as the swaying structure above ground collapsed. The village was to be symbolically raised by the dragon, and he had been chosen by the dragon, for he had not returned home. But Antonio did not care. He only wished to study the book the old lady had given him on the bridge he passed today. This book was titled The Radiant Charter? Radiant Charter, I'm gonna guess. And within was restored all the rules, was recorded all the rules that every believer in Simulanka must follow. No, not believer. Every... eBay... I don't know that word. Every being. Within. Every being within Simulanka must follow. There it is. I'm okay at these word things. Radiant Charter, though? I don't know. That might not be it. That's a big block for one letter. Although that one block is covering up a C. You know what? What's going on? They're using, like, a block as a... It's not actually like somebody took whiteout over it. They're actually just putting a square in its place. So each one of those squares is one letter. Bam! I figured it out. Radiant Charter, and within was recorded all the rules that every being within Simulanka must follow. Except it's not the same amount of squares there. It's fine. It was written in the language of the world's creation at the very start, and if Antonio was not possessed of extraordinary wisdom and deciphered this primordial text, there would have been no study to be had. This book recorded no solutions as to resolving the difficulty that Constellation Satellite presently faced, nor did it contain any hexes that could aid Antonio in repairing his own home, but he knew that wisdom was the mightiest thing in the world. The morning light shone through the ruins of his home, and the neighboring blacksmith and chubby chief took great pains to get rid of the house's wreckage, which blocked the basement hatch. With dark circles about his eyes, Antonio said to the chubby chief, I shall defeat the dragon. I will return soon. Are you sure you're all right? You don't look like you got any sleep. Just smoke from the oil lamp. Don't worry about it. The dragon sat atop a mountain of treasures, gazing down at insignificant little Antonio, walking closer. Flames gathered in its throat, preparing to burn the area 1 centimeter before him, all the better to scare this puny, foolish creature away. Halt! I am a qualified second-class Meister. The Radiant Charter states that should I refuse a duel, you cannot use force. What? This restriction did indeed exist, and so the wicked dragon swallowed its flames whole. Ah, how it dreaded going to the toilet tomorrow. The Radiant Charter states that should I refuse a duel, you cannot use force. Oh. It's like, oh, I give up. You can't hurt me. Uh-huh. Antonio, for his part, had not expected that the second-class rust-clearing Meister qualification exam he had taken on a lark would come in useful. And since I am a second-class Meister, I propose a duel of riddles. You cannot refuse. Now, Simulanka had just a law, mainly for the benefit of sphinxes, old sages, and Gollum. I mean, princesses, who wish to make life hard for others. The evil dragon had not expected this rule to catch up with it. I shall ask the first question. My house sold for 8,000 mora yesterday, but I thought there was a room to raise the price, so I bought it back for 9,000. Planning to sell it for 10,000. How much mora did I lose in the end? The dragon laughed in contempt. What's so hard about that? You could have waited until it hit 10,000 to make your move, but you sold for 8 and bought for 9, so you lost 1,000 mora that you could have earned instead. Wrong. You burned my house down yesterday, and I couldn't sell it in time, so I've lost far more. Sorry, I mean, I do have to burn a house, and you happen not to be home, so I might as well hit one that doesn't result in any loss of life. Now that you've lost this contest, I have the right to loot of the same value as your life, minus 1 mora. And considering that you burned my house, I can seek damages. Let's assume that my house is worth just 1 mora. Well then, Wicked Dragon, you know what to do with yourself. Please, spare me. I'll give you anything. Your words, not mine, Antonio said, as he pulled out a contract he had written long ago. Thus did Antonio use his wisdom to take all the evil dragon's treasures. The dragon, devastated, would never again return to attack Constellation Satellite where Antonio lived. Many years later, a child asked Antonio, You sold your place for 8,000 and spent 9,000 buying it back. So it looks like you actually did lose 1,000 mora? Yeah, and if they sold it for 10,000, that means they would have only made 9,000. Which means they would have only made 1,000. It doesn't matter.
Look! My clan's history is true as well! Ah, there's that same unforgeable signature again, right here!
What? Oh, does this mean that my clan is the only odd one out?
Given that my clan's wisdom is such a subject of ridicule in your eyes, I will now appeal to my own personal intelligence, which I believe far surpasses that of my clan at large, and make a prediction. It seems likely that the claims made by each of our clans regarding their history and virtue are all true.
Boberano? How can that be?
Oh, I get what's going on. Once, when I was drinking with Gujiyai, she bet me a round of dried fish that I couldn't guess which cup the umeboshi was under. Whichever one I guessed, I was always wrong, and Gujiyai would lift a different cup to reveal the umeboshi. But then, I learned later from one of the shrine maidens, Miyuki, that all of the cups had an umeboshi under them. Just goes to show, I still got a long way to go before I become a great yokai.
So she lifted the cup she didn't choose. Yeah.
Oh, don't mind Fox Lady. That's just her way of teasing you.
Yeah, she teases other people too. Like Goro.
Actually, that reminds me. We can now open these 3 treasure chests.
Oh.
And unlike the guessing game you mentioned, this one's not a trick.
Cool. Well, once you've plundered the last of Boberano's family wealth, we can go to my clan's place.
Alright.
Guess I'll take the clockwork key again then. Yoink!
How much is their wealth combined?
Treasure. One way to draw your target out of hiding.
951 Mora. 1,200 Mora, so that's a little over 2,000. 3,000... it's like close to 3,500. Wow, they were poor. Ew. Poor people. They're surrounded by gold and they only had 3,000 Mora? How much do I have on me right now? Ah, yes. 40 million. Do I need to teleport up there? Nah, it's fine. That'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chests are no longer fake. We were able to get a pittance. A mere pittance. Hello? So many giant guards. Oh, we're going to the place that I was talking about. Had a feeling it was tied to this quest.
The cohort of truth seekers followed Albizzi to his clan's sacred site. They arrived to the site of a giant guard towering over them.
Up ahead is my clan's gigantified guard. He can be a little pig-headed, and he's incredibly strong. Your weapons won't even scratch him.
Wait, but wasn't Kappe's clan the one that's all about strength? So, what do you guys believe in then?
Oh, the guard is one of Kappe's people. Size is a coveted trait in the clan of strength, after all. Mine is the clan of empathy, and our key contribution is... growth serum!
What's empathetic about that?
Our ancestors believed that, just maybe, the dragon of old didn't mean us any harm at all. Perhaps the dragon simply didn't notice us, since we are so very tiny. So, they drank the growth serum and grew even larger than the dragon. Then, they set the dragon down, calmly explained their perspective, and eventually taught it how to empathize. The serum isn't what it once was, though. Nowadays, it doesn't make you grow all that much, and it actually makes you lose your empathy. So, I advise we take a detour.
Despite Albizzi's words of caution, somebody, no doubt, has other ideas. Surely we could avoid a conflict with the guard, they think to themselves, if we could just try to understand one another. You could, of course, just take the path to your left and go around. But some people are gluttons for punishment. It's all part of the experience, I suppose.
Why is my own clan treating me like a villain?
You've been away too long. We all have. Feels like we've been waiting forever.
Let's do this once. Let's get caught.
Everyone, I have returned. I come with the long-awaited Marquis and their followers to search for the lost origins of our clan.
Well, we weren't told anything about that this morning. Get out of here. Leave us alone.
The giant guards scoop you up and throw you outside. No one is able to fight back. Love was when stuff is done on a black screen.
You and Albizzi only wanted to strike up a conversation with the guard. But since greeting you wasn't one of the items included in today's schedule, the relationship quickly soured. If you're just looking for a way in, why not consider taking the path on your left?
Everyone, I have returned. I come with the...
Well, we weren't told...
Huh?
You and Albizzi...
I thought there was going to be like, so they tried again, and the same fucking thing happened.
But since greeting you wasn't one of the items included in today's schedule, the relationship quickly soured. If you're just looking for a way in, why not consider taking the path on your left?
Why indeed would I take the path from the left?
Determined, presumably, to always do what is right and never do what is not right, the Marquis refused to take the path on the left. I guess that's one way of doing it. Well, an open world comes with open-ended problems after all.
I just Stanley Parabled. I also destroyed all the boxes. Wait, not all of them. There we go. And they're back.
We should be getting close.
Why is this place so full of junk? Are you the kind of people who never throw away the box when you buy something because you're worried you won't be able to return it without the original packaging? We'll never find
That's
the Oracle
real.
pillars in all this mess.
That's real.
Never mind that. We have a more pressing issue. It seems there's a slight problem with my clan's family crest. The Marquis may need to utilize their wisdom to solve the issue.
Okay, it's the letter E. Kind of.
Wisdom too, huh? Well, you guys have a bit of everything, don't you? Except empathy.
Except empathy.
Yes! Keep the noise down! We don't want to alert the guard.
Huh? What? I can't hear you over all the boxes I'm breaking.
Over here! I found it!
Alright. For starting here,
I'll go keep watch.
sure. Okay.
This is the last one.
Galileo. Yeah, it is Galileo. And Alberto did many good deeds again today. Though it was most tiring to help the old lady on the bridge move her barrels of hard apple cider, they each got a small barrel as their reward. The moonlight was unobstructed and beautiful, and the two good friends climbed up the high wall that had been built to stave the evil dragon off. Alberto lost the rock-paper-scissors match, so he had to hold the barrel of cider under the crook of his arm as they climbed the ladder. Look! This is the big house that our chubby chief was so proud of. Doesn't look so big from here, huh? Said Alberto, as he looked at the house. You're wrong. That's my home, said Galileo. The chief's house is that one. Alberto's night vision was not all that good, and moonlight could never compare to daylight. If one were to close one's eyes, the light could not be seen at all. He tried a little harder, but could discern nothing more. But it's also really small, Galileo continued. So there's nothing wrong with your statement. Galileo and Alberto were both rather perceptive people. Galileo's reply covered for Alberto's. Discomfort? Regarding his poor vision? Huh? For Alberto's discomfort. I think that's another typo. I think that's supposed to be discomfort. What the fuck is discomfort? Is that comfortable cis people? What? Covered for Alberto's discomfort regarding his poor vision. While Alberto also lost the rock-paper-scissors match on purpose so that he could carry the cider barrel because the gears under Galileo's ribs were injured. Here's to you. The two friends raised a toast once Alberto stuffed a cork back in the barrel. The two cis white males were completely comfortable. It was cis-comfortable. It's when they're not worried about misgendering somebody. The next day, the two gathered everyone in the village plaza. First, they apologized for the collapse of the anti-dragon wall and told all the people that they were preparing to have a talk with the evil dragon. I know it was a lot to take. I know it was a lot of work for everyone to fix that wall, but we're not that fussed about it anyway, the chubby chief said. But are you sure you're not bragging when you say you knocked it down yourselves? Of course, that was not the chief's point. He was too good of a person. He continued, also, it's too dangerous to seek the dragon out, but don't worry about us. and so the two best friends and the whole world departed. The evil dragon trembled before Alberto and Galileo. For some reason, the old lady's liquor could make people grow very, very large. That was how they accidentally squashed the high walls the previous night. As they gazed down at the ground far below, they more or less understood how the dragon thought. No wonder it could accidentally destroy the village at its feet. So long as they could get the dragon to notice people, they could surely come to an understanding. The two friends thus drank all the remaining magic cider, becoming even larger than the dragon by a good margin. Reeking of alcohol, they sandwiched the dragon between them, and drunkenly tried reasoning with it. The dragon shriveled up in terror, all of its monstrosity and fell aura, forever gone, indeed. It even looked kind of pitiful. I'm assuming that's what those words are. Alberto attempted to pick dirt off the scales on the dragon's back, but wound up picking off an entire scale. The dragon sought to flee, but Galileo, fearing that the crisis might persist for 10,000 years more if the misunderstanding was not cleared up, tugged its tail and dragged it right back. To be honest, we've always lived under your feet, but we are far too small, so you may not have ever seen us. Now we've transformed and become big. Galileo said, "So now, surely, you must know that we dwell at your feet." The dragon nodded repeatedly, and thus did the two and the dragon chat all night, and believing the goal of mutual understanding achieved, the two set off along the road home.
The signature. So it's true. Empathy is one of the founding virtues of Constellation Metropole, too.
Also fear.
Just as we suspected, all three are the truth.
Seemed like the dragon was scared of the giants that plucked a scale out of him.
Okay. Well, this is a lot to process. I feel a little empty inside. Yes, we found the truth, but there's too much truth.
I get you. It's like in Inazuma, when there were only 6 books in the Mirage Warrior series, it was really popular. But by the time book number 88 came out, nobody wanted to read it. They'd all lost interest.
This is the opposite of One Piece.
A brief moment of joy is drowned out by a growing feeling of melancholy. But perhaps there is a glimmer of hope to be found too? Anyone? Anyone? All right, I'll say it. How is it the case that these 3 versions of history can all be true at once?
That's exactly what Paimon was wondering, but Boborano kind of already explained it away earlier. So Paimon was worried she'd look stupid for asking the question.
It's not a stupid question at all, my dear little pixie. While I did postulate that different truths may coexist, there is an issue when it comes to these 3 truths in particular. The problem is, all 3 truths are the history of the exact same thing, namely the dragon and the Metropole's origins. Yet all 3 bear the signature, showing that they're genuine.
Suddenly, the sound of a bell rings out.
Are we in trouble? Escape from the clan's empathy sacred site.
It rang once! What does that mean again? Ah, yes! Highest level of emergency! Everyone, to the main entrance! Stat! Bring all the glue traps and place them outside the gates!
The whole city is on the lookout, and there's only one way out. It's the path right in front of you.
Why'd they ring the bell anyway? Also, why is 1 ring the highest level of emergency?
Obviously because you have to respond fast when it's an emergency. It'd be a bit too late if they waited till the 99th ring.
The bell! It rang once! What does that mean again? Ah, yes! Highest level of emergency! Everyone, to the main entrance! Stat! Bring all the glue traps and place them outside the gates!
I was trying to Stanley Parable again.
And there's only one way out. It's the path right in front of you.
Why'd they ring the bell anyway? Also, why is 1 ring the highest level of emergency?
Obviously because you have to respond fast when it's an emergency.
They're outside! After them!
Oh, I guess I'll do this. Whee!
We made it out. Don't know if we'll still be needing this clockwork key, but I yoinked it out before we ran, just in case.
Okay, but back to the truth problem. There are 3 conflicting versions of the truth, and somehow they're all still true. What is that supposed to mean?
Ask Phoenix Wright. He's good at figuring this stuff out.
I don't know. I doubt anyone here in Simulanka can make sense of it. All we do know is that any manuscript bearing her signature has to be valid.
He would put his hand to his chin to go like, oh, well, maybe they're all true. And here's my weird, wild theory. And then he starts just guessing at shit, and it happens to be true.
Well, she is the goddess of fate, the creator of all this. And all these manuscripts are her grand design.
The reason we argued about who was right was that we didn't know enough about the truth of the past. But now we have the truth. So we just have to accept it. As surely as we will follow the clockwork path designed for us, so is this the course that history has taken. It is clear and incontrovertible.
We will never argue again. Thank you all.
I'm sure.
Is that all there is to it? Is this where the decision made at the first crossroads of destiny has led us to? A pointlessly happy ending? Overthinking it would be equally pointless. Well, that's enough for one day. Time to take a break.
Could you be any more cryptic? You're planning something. Paimon knows it.
Whatever happens, today was a breakthrough in my journey of discovery. I will go back and share it with my clan.
Me too.
And me.
Let's leave it there for today.
And my axe.
I'm sure we'll find out what else Mr. Narrator has planned for us tomorrow.
Time to wait. The next day. Oh, we just read a full 24 hours and a half. Not panning up again, also. Doesn't have a portion of sky to look at, I guess.
I got a new letter from them.
What a beautiful...
Whoops. I did the thing.
The voice in her head grew louder. Must go to Pendulum Lane.
So yeah, I skipped the text and I didn't go back and listen to the text. It just went to the next bit of text. Because I tried to open the map. Anywho.
Pendulum Lane is just up ahead. Something must have happened here after all. Everyone's crowded around.
Be careful. My character is fast, so I'm fear I'm going to miss dialogue.
Oh my god, this is terrible. I don't understand. The 3 great clans of Constellation Metropole have finally made peace with each other. Who could have done this?
Also, how often did they say, oh my god?
What happened? Oh no, someone's lying on the ground. Cappe!
Oh, we know who murdered him.
How did this happen?
Cappe, you idiot! Wake up! You need to revise your last words or everyone's gonna start suspecting me!
Last words? What did he say?
If I wind up dead one day, the murderer was Boberano.
Ugh, you could have at least pretended to not remember it.
I'm sorry, Boberano, but this is an interrogation. I have to give the detective straight answers.
Don't worry, Boberano. I don't consider you a suspect, nor do I have the authority to charge anyone with a crime. So, are you the last people to have had contact with him?
This is the narrator. And he's also the, he's Grandpa Almond. Yes?
My sincere condolences. You were travel companions, right? It's a real tragedy. I'm afraid he'll be out cold for another hour and a half, at least.
Huh?
Yeah, I know. It's despicable. Hitting someone in the back of the head is the second worst act of cruelty there is. The first being replacing their gear oil with extra strong glue.
So, Cappe's not dead?
He's moving.
His gears, metal frame, and shell are all still in excellent condition. It's just his energy supply that's been all messed up. Wait. But surely you can't be suggesting that just because Cape isn't broken, there's no need to go looking for the culprit.
No, there's a need! Huge need!
Unfortunately, this is rapidly turning into a cold case. There's no evidence and no witnesses. Unless there's an official clockwork pedestal, the goddess of prophecy around here somewhere. Excuse me. Then suddenly the long-lost dragon of old flew across the sky.
Yeah, that's the narrator.
Where?
I didn't see anything. Wait, why can't I move?
Oh, my mistake. It was just a cloud. Or a bird. Or something. If only we could turn time backwards and replay the crime.
Isn't that one of those, clockwork socket things right behind you?
Ah, so it is. No wonder everyone here is suddenly struggling to move. Traveller, if you please, let's recreate the crime scene.
No. They'll be stuck like that forever. Okay. Alright, I'm going back. Okay.
The crime seems too chaotic. I can't make heads or tails of it.
Navigating the world is a whole lot easier with a few different identities to choose from. Need me to come up with some for you?
You threw something right when he fell over.
Well, that clears it up. Cape was walking along the street, and he suddenly collapsed. He was faking it.
What? So case closed? Aren't you supposed to investigate a little more first?
Well, we literally replayed the crime scene and saw it with our own eyes. There's no need for any evidence gathering or powers of deduction now. And besides, maybe the truth is inherently strange by nature. Like how Constellation Metropole has 3 histories, each of which is the truth.
How would you know that?
But didn't you say Cape was struck in the back of the head and knocked unconscious?
For all I know, he could have bashed his head against a toilet bowl before leaving the house, then walked here in a daze before finally passing out. As for why he might have done that, my guess is... With the Supreme Clan question left unanswered and the tension in Constellation Metropole suddenly wiped away, he was looking to create a new source of conflict.
Or you were.
Only then would the city feel alive again. Do we really think he's capable of that, though? Sounds like a pretty complicated conspiracy for the average Simulanka resident.
Traveler, something about the crime scene isn't sitting right with me. It just seems unnatural. Also, anything outside of the immediate area won't have appeared in the replay. Is it possible that something was missing from the scene? Why don't we search the area?
Wait, what are you doing?
Oh, we're gonna head to Cape's house to check the toilet bowl for signs of an impact.
A Genshin impact? On the toilet bowl?
There's a spear here. It looks so mysterious. Let's take it.
Doink.
Take it easy.
Oh, this is a treasure chest thing. Oh, there's little yellow circles for me to look at. Where did my spear go?
Hello there. have you seen my spear by any chance? Someone was shouting about a dragon a minute ago, and I instinctively threw it into the sky. Yeah.
Well, that explains that clue. Pickaxe.
You're not from these parts, are you? Just visiting?
Yep, that's right. Why? What's up?
Ah, well, I was gonna offer you a great job in the Titanium mines. A safe and secure working environment.
Doesn't sound very safe. At least not as safe as being a courier.
To keep the titanium ore intact, we use specially designed pickaxes that can't cut through it. Even if you struck a person with it, it wouldn't so much as leave a scratch.
This guy's voice is pretty good. I don't know who this is. He sounds like an infomercial dude.
And in terms of labor intensity, the work has been rated as Class 2 physical labor by a reputable organization. Even cats can do it.
Like, yeah, I think he's like, this is so easy to use, even cats can do it.
I'm not. Never mind. I give up.
Welcome to Paimon's world.
Mind you, I don't know what happened today, but somehow a pickaxe has gone missing. Maybe one of the giant guards broke it down, so someone took it to perform a rapid resuscitation procedure.
Sounds pretty brutal for a first aid technique. Still, a missing pickaxe. Huh. Is it just me, Traveler, or does it seem kinda suspicious?
We did find it.
Come here. But whatever it is you were looking to buy, please do come back tomorrow. It's just, I have to close early today. A bottle of growth serum has gone missing. If someone's stolen it with the intention of harming others, the consequences could be disastrous. There's a whole investigation into it, so I gotta close the shop while I do an inventory count. If it turns out I'm wrong and I miscounted, I could be charged with filing a false report and disturbing the peace.
It's right here.
There's a strange potion bottle here. Looks so weird. Let's take it.
Let's take it.
Let's say one of these was the weapon used in the assault. Which one do you think it is?
The pickaxe.
If it was the pickaxe, Cappy sure is lucky it's not still lodged in his head.
Actually, you're wrong there, Paimon. The foreman at the mine was just saying, this kind of pickaxe is designed not to damage titanium, so it couldn't cause any superficial damage to residents here. But you could probably knock someone out if you hit them hard enough, and it wouldn't leave a scratch. Let's take this back to the crime scene and replay it one more time.
Ah, you're back. How was the toilet at Cape's house?
Toilet? What about it? Yeah, forget that.
Show the pickaxe.
What's this about? What are you trying to say?
We thought the way Cape fell looked odd, so we searched the area for suspicious items and found this. It could have been deliberately placed out of range of the crime scene so it wouldn't show up when we replayed it. Now we've retrieved it, we were gonna replay it again. You don't mind, do you?
Oh, I just remembered I forgot to turn off the clockwork switch in my kitchen. Yeah, I think I'll just,
Oh, no, you stay right there.
I've been found out.
We should be good now.
Look who's got the pickaxe over there. You threw something. I mean, I called that earlier.
So you're the attacker!
Get him! Well?
So, it was you!
I would congratulate you for cracking the case, but since I did such an abysmal job of covering my tracks, didn't exactly have your work cut out for you. So, all I can say is... catch me if you can!
Okay. Oh, right, we're gonna use Kirara.
We have a runner! That's it! Let me at him!
The would-be Marquis of Carabas dispatched the Necromata in boots, who ran off in pursuit of the poor little minion. The minion's poor little lower back was protesting painfully against the intense physical activity. He decided to take the elevator, giving him a moment to catch his breath.
I thought this would be a little faster. This ability.
Really? His lower back asked. But the minion had no other choice. He resolved to make the jump down. By this point, the Necromata in boots was gasping for air. The minion was huffing and puffing, even more loudly. But we'll ignore that.
I'm not! Don't underestimate the gold-level courier of the Komania Express!
A characteristically catty response from the Necromata. Tell me, what do you hope to gain from bullying me?
I get to let off some steam!
Ha-ha! You fell into my trap! Oh, and by the way, remember the glue you got stuck on when you first entered the future Marquis's abode to be? That was also me. I did it using my powers.
Rats! Oh, I'm so jealous of you guys right now. You can just jump out of your shoes and keep running, but Wait, I'm wearing boots this time.
The unnamed minion made a last-ditch escape attempt. He began his long climb, sorry, up the wall, the tall wall. He began his long climb up the tall wall.
You call that a tall wall? In urgent Neko parcel mode.
Cleared in no time.
I'm beat. I surrender.
She's a sword user.
You've got nowhere left to run.
All right. I confess.
That was fast.
Getting caught by you here was a backup plan. I don't know if what I've done will make things better or not. Time to come clean. I am the narrator. The one who's been guiding you all this time.
Yeah, I figured. Gasp! Shock! My mind is blown!
You're overdoing it a little bit there. Anyway, I only did what I did because...
Why are you suddenly spilling the beans?
I poured my heart and soul into all this. I was worried you wouldn't ask. The truth is, I was one of the first conscious beings ever made by the goddess of creation. And I've known for a long time that this whole world is just a fairy tale written by the goddess of fate. I know they say that fairy tales are just made up for kids to read, but I refuse to believe that fairy tales are just fictional stories and nothing more. The reason why Constellation Metropole has 3 origin stories is that the goddess of fate wrote 3 drafts and couldn't decide which one she liked best. Then her cat trod all over them, and they all got crumpled together, so the 3 worlds just sort of folded into one. The goddess of fate was torn between them anyway, since she couldn't decide which ending was best for the dragon or the kids. So when she saw what the cat had done, she simply decided to go with all 3.
Who'd have thought? But what does any of this have to do with what you did?
You're not a fictional character, so you couldn't hope to understand my sorrow. Honestly, I don't think there's anyone in all of Simulanka who would understand. Every day that I experience, every interaction I have with another person, is it really all just a work of fiction? The only reason the 3 great clans wanted to find out the truth was for the pointless task of electing the supreme clan. I thought that once they'd learned the truth, it might make them curious enough to investigate further. But as it turned out, they just accepted it and carried on living the same old lives. I have to motivate them to keep looking for answers now that they think they've learned the truth. I have to make them uncomfortable with the superficial explanation that they took at face value. And I have to figure out, once and for all, while you real people from the outside world are still here, are we real?
Aww.
That's my full confession. Time for you to take me back. I'm guessing I'll probably be forced to make a public apology, then sentenced to half a day in solitary confinement. I definitely deserve half a day. Oh, also, pass this message on to Cape, Bobarano, and Albizzi if you could.
A, B, and C.
The Great Clockwork Key was originally put in place jointly by the ancestors of the three clans.
By the way, their names are A, B, and C.
If the three of them had any ability to cooperate whatsoever, they'd have been able to remove it by themselves.
And this guy's name is Detective, which is D.
Over all these years, not once have they ever tried removing it together.
Oh, my poor child. There's one thing you've been mistaken about this whole time.
Ah! Whose voice is that? Detective? Was that you? Your voice acting's actually pretty good.
The reason fairy tales are suitable for children is that they help them to understand the world. Fairy tales may be works of fiction, but at their heart lies an internal logic that is undoubtedly real-world truth in a condensed form. Perhaps they simplify good and evil, and perhaps they hide the darkness in metaphors. But let there be no doubt. The world within fairy tales is as real as can be. And by extension, you and your compatriots are also real.
Goddess! Is it really you?
Is she dead?
The line that separates footnotes from narrative can never be crossed. Never the two shall meet. This is why you have never heard my voice before. But now you wish to break free from the story, and there's a cat nearby, so you can hear my echo.
Oh.
Necromora!
Just your echo.
Oh, poor detective.
So, we are a part of the real world too.
You lead the surrendered detective back to Cape. So we need a shot of the crime scene for evidence, a mug shot of the suspect for the records, and a photo of the heroes for posterity. The guard mulled it over. 3 photos is overkill. Let's just get one big group photo at the crime scene. Suspect, try to look more serious. Heroes, more natural please. Happy smiles. But no smiling from the victim or their friends and family. Thank you. No, don't get up. Stay on the ground. We need to capture the crime scene as is. 3, 2, 1, say cheese! Fucking dead. Weirdest photo experience of my life. Paimon's enjoying it though. So is Kirara. Debbed.
My head's spinning. Albizzi just gave me a quick rundown of the situation. So you caught the detective?
Sorta. We chased him until he surrendered. Oh, and he asked us to pass on a message.
You tell the 3 about the rest of what happened. And that they could have removed the Great Clockwork Key if they just worked together.
Does he really think we didn't try that? 'Cause we did, after 6 months in that place.
Ah, that was my bad. I thought it was a stupid idea at the time, so I didn't really exert myself.
I also sort of stopped trying after 3 years.
You... Never mind. I'm partly to blame as well. On the second attempt, I just hugged the key and pretended like I was pulling as hard as I could.
You guys are so lazy. My granny's neighbor's pet cat has nothing on you, and it spends all day, every day sunbathing.
Did she say pet cat? It says pet dog. Now, a cat sunbathing makes sense, but it says pet dog in text. Patch it. Patch it right now. It only has 3 days left. Patch it and fix it.
Anyway, you said you heard the voice of the Goddess of Fate at the end? That's amazing.
There is a world beyond our own after all.
What would you guys say to taking a trip to the outside world sometime? Otherwise, I got bashed in the back of the head for nothing.
Depends. Do either of you know how to get there? But yes, I agree we should go. And not invite the detective. Just to annoy him. But maybe the reason we've never worried about whether we're real or not is that, unlike him, we weren't there to witness the creation of this world. We've never had any reason to doubt that we're real. If someone ever convinced me that these delightful dimwits, Cape and Albizzi, weren't real, oh, I'd be devastated.
Heh. Texts coda. I thought it was like Texas soda. Somebody's dog walked into the room while they were writing that line of dialogue, and they wrote dog instead of cat. Like the dog did a yawn and one of those. He goes, "Ooh, big stretch," and then he wrote dog on the paper, and they turned it in, and nobody said anything.
Good roll. All right, maybe I'll take one more day off and knock out the rest of the work once I'm feeling up to it.
I'll just teleport there. No glue this time. Oh, no voice acting all of a sudden. Well, if it isn't the Marquis of Carabas, along with her cat and little fairy. I think we should probably stop this for now. Surely it's time that Chrono and I drop these roles? In theory, it should be over now, but I remember hearing that the point of the ceremony was to help people transition from one mental state to another. To bid farewell to the title of Marquis of Carabas once and for all, you can bring things to a close with a touch of formality. As the Nekomata bids farewell to her boots, though through the reflection are we wiser to the nature of the truth. Okay. He doesn't budge an inch. Oops. Start to wonder if he used enough force. Start to doubt if he used enough force.
Solidify!
Oh, I definitely used enough force.
This is order.
Hmm. Maybe I need to do a diving attack on it? Because there's these blocks here? No voice acting because heck you. So I don't know if, is this quest done? And it just sort of ends like this? We waited 2 days and were told to come over here. And we were able to put the key in.
I'm going in! Witness my rise.
Here comes the catch.
Gather.
I'm looking it up. Uh-huh. I'm looking at the wiki.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember.
Uh-huh. Oh, the blacked out text that was covering up dialogue in those notes likely represent a paw print from the Goddess of Fate's cat, the one that stepped all over the papers. Okay. In the end of the quest, the detective holds a sign reading NARR narrator in Fontaine script. Okay, these are like trivia things. Yeah, but let me find a video, like a full playthrough. I'm looking. Uh-huh. I think that's it. It just ends. You're able to put the key in here, but then nothing happens. You're just able to get rid of the key. Yeah, we got a check mark for completed the quest. It was just like we put the key in there and they didn't change their dialogue. And the key actually didn't do anything. Unless it gave us, like, Primo Gems and I wasn't paying attention. Maybe that's what happened? I don't know. Wow.
Boats are made for
Thank you for
transfer.
talking about boats, Zhongli. You were standing still for 2 seconds? Let's do the Kale thing, because we've done, I think, everything we can do in this event. So we're going to Sumeru. But let's select the quest real quick. I'm also going to have to adjust my party because since we're going to be in Sumeru, that means we're going to be able to read some minds. So let's swap the party a little bit. Who... Let's do this.
There are still so many places for us to explore.
This is going to be our team. In the Sumeru thing. Okay. So let me just X this out, because it's... Google Chrome is just a fucking RAM hog. Nope. I guess we were close enough. Oh, no voice acting! No! All right, didn't Kale say Sumeru City has been pretty lively lately? Aren't you even a little curious? Not really. Sounds fun to me. Right? Paimon agrees. Then let's go see what's going on. For our first stop, maybe start with the Academia? That's where all this info is, after all. Ah. More talking. Yes. My throat can't wait.
Everyone hold hands.
Next time you borrow books, try to be a bit more careful. Please, please let there be voice acting. Look, that's Faruzan over there. Do you think we should ask? Even just glancing at borrowing records gives me flashbacks to how awful that book was. How irritating. Faruzan, what are you doing talking to yourself over here? I am Madam Faruzan, after all. It's not out of place for me to mull things over out loud, wouldn't you say? But in this case... Never mind, forget about it. Why'd the two of you suddenly decide to drop by? Well, about that, we heard something about a party and didn't want to miss out. Kale told us that Sumeru is the place to be now. Apparently tons of interesting things are happening, so we thought we'd ask around. Any idea what she was talking about? Interesting things? What might Kale find interesting? Tainari's tail getting so fluffed up like a ball of tumbleweed? Or Sino climbing a tree and getting his hood caught on a branch? Whoa, we really missed all that? Seriously, and nobody thought to tell me? Still, she said that there was something big that everyone's been talking about. Can you think of anything slightly more significant? More significant? Ah! Is there something the matter, madam? Now that you mention it, it must be what I think it is. Recently, rumors have been going around about a certain book. That's a classic horror story opening. It's not some kind of forbidden tome or anything like that, is it? Forbidden tome? As far as I'm concerned, it might as well be. Tell me, have you ever read one of those really, really, really badly written detective novels? I don't think I have. I unfortunately did. Tell me exactly how bad it was. Oh, leave this to Paimon. For example, the type where you start off thinking it's a locked room murder mystery, but it actually turns out to be the whole building was just moved. That's right. Or it's supposed to be based on pure reasoning and logical deduction, but at the end it just turns out that the culprit was some kind of superpower. Has some kind of superpower. Exactly! Or it starts out super serious, but in the second half it just reveals that everyone lost their memories out of the blue. Or it's set in a mountain village in the middle of a snowstorm, and the police officer who's been portrayed as a serious figure throughout the whole story suddenly turns out to be the murderer, without even the slightest hint of foreshadowing. You're both being way too specific. You'll offend half the crime novelists into that if you keep going. My apologies, I let myself get a bit carried away there for a moment. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I did borrow a book like that a few days past. So you borrowed a badly written book, but that happens to be the best of us. That happens to the best of us. No, that's the problem. Blizzard swept mountain villages, superpowers, police officers who turn out to be criminals. This book had it all, and more. Reading it was tantamount to torture. And despite how complicated it wasn't engaging in the slightest. But there have been all sorts of rumors circulating about this book. Because of the strange marks drawn over all the pages, people are saying that it must be concealing secrets. Do you think there's treasure involved? I'm not sure, but there must be many who believe so. Not only have more and more people been borrowing it, but they've all been specifically asking for the marked up copy. Have you borrowed it too? Yes, I have. As you well know, I am a scholar, so it's only natural to have a bit of curiosity. So, just what secrets does this book at the center of the rumors actually hold? I read through carefully from start to finish. Most of the marks are circles, but the beginning and end points of each stroke differ, as does the color of the ink used. Most importantly, all the names of people in the book have been circled. Not only that, many of them are adapted from famous figures in Sumeru's history. Some speculate that these marks must have been left by different scholars over the eras, each researching the book's secrets, even each searching for a name they believed in. Others believe that they are a kind of notation made by different people belonging to the same organization, and that the names circled are their code names. Why the fuck isn't there voice acting for this? They brought Khaled in to do a few lines, and then they started up a quest based off of her, and then they just said, fuck it. Let him read. Still, others think that it is some kind of encryption cipher, but even after finishing it, I came no closer to uncovering the mystery. Not only was reading it a complete waste of my time, but sheer absurdity of the shoddy excuse for a plot several times over. I was so angry that I returned the book immediately, and when I came to the house of Dana today, I found lots of people skulking around. I suppose they're all still looking for that thing. No wonder you zoned out like that. Paimon's guessing you won't be borrowing any more detective novels anytime soon. Indeed. Paimon, Chrono, surely the two of you must understand how I feel. Yes, I do. Don't worry, madam. I feel your frustration. What's the book called? We'll borrow it and take a look ourselves. It's called Reasoning Knows Not Time of Day, but suspense always follows a blizzard. You sure it's a detective novel? Sounds more like the title of a light novel. Tell me about it. Anyway, read it at your own risk. It truly is unbearably boring. She did say read it at your own risk. Next time you borrow books, try to be a bit more careful. Search for clues nearby. Don't want to pay other VAs. Just give them a couple lines. I wanted to follow up to Scaramouche and the Little Dragon. What are they doing right now? Are we gonna run into Alhaitham? He's gonna be like, I'm studying this shitty book. There's so many books with long titles here. Let Paimon have a look. Working hard and vacationing harder. What the heck? An Atlas of Rare Rainforest Dwelling Species, Professional Edition. The Art of Construction of Coffee Machines. Who exactly reads these? Secrets of Elemental Sciences? The book jacket even says, Expert Approved. The former sage Cyrus praises this as an excellent entry-level book. And this one, a compilation and summary of common-based grammar rules for rare languages of ancient desert peoples. Ugh! Now Paimon's dizzy. It's just so many words. Come on, Paimon, you can learn 20 different... Huh? Is that Layla over there? Let's just ask her. She may know something. You gonna introduce Layla and not have her talk now? Chrono, Paimon, it's been so long. I'm still a bit tired. Didn't sleep well last night? I was reading a novel, so I stayed up late. It wasn't that detective novel that everyone's been talking about, was it? The one with the super long name? Huh? Oh, no. If you're talking about reasoning knows not time of day, but suspense always follows, Blizzard. Oh, right, yes. No, it wasn't that one. Madame Farazan said it was really dull, so I didn't borrow it. Oh, so you're not that interested in the book Secrets? I haven't even been able to keep up with my own work, even though I'm up late all the time these days. But way more people have been interested in the book than I ever imagined. 7 or 8 in a single morning. I feel like a living signboard sitting here like this. Kabe asked me the same question, so he must be looking for it too? He was even hiding behind a ladder before, looking for something. He looked really embarrassed. Searching for something, hiding behind a ladder? He must be after Mora. That's gotta be it, so he can hurry up and pay off his debt to... Wait, no, let's just pretend Paimon didn't say anything. Layla, you're really sleepy, right? You must be dreaming this conversation. I didn't really get it anyway, but if you say so, it's a dream. Thank you, we'll keep on looking. Okay, see you next time. It's not often Layla falls asleep so quickly. Good for her. Good for her narcolepsy. Paimon thinks we should ask Kabe now. If he's searching for the book, he must know something. But where is he now? Good question. But we can try hanging around here. He might show up. There's a good chance he's here right now, right? Let's take a look around. Oh. Whoops. Summon these things by mistake? What is she thinking while she's sleeping? ... Wow, that's no fun. I'll just follow the blue square. We're just gonna go to his house. Do you ever think we seem like a pair of thieves? Hiding here to ambush Kabe? It almost feels like we're here to extort him or something. Paimon's not sure why that is, though. We just want to ask him a couple questions, that's all. Don't make it sound like we're the baddies. Are we the baddies? When have you ever been bothered by your conscience? That sounds like footsteps. Quick, let's take a look. Stop right there, Hell, I hit them. What are you doing here? Good question. Surprising indeed. I was under the impression that I knew I lived here. That you knew I lived here. Good morning. Good morning. What can I do for you?
Were you waiting for me to say something?
Yeah. Nothing. Never mind. Oh, goodbye then. He just left. Does he have to work to do or something? Footsteps again?
You didn't want to be voiced like that anymore.
They're heading towards the door. Stop right there, Kabe. What are you two doing here? Good question. Surprising indeed. Paimon was under the impression that you'd know the only reason we'd be here is if we were looking for you. Paimon, you don't sound like yourself. Looking for a certain book, by any chance? Wait, what? Here's the deal. You and Paimon pull Kabe to one side, and in hushed tones, we'll never know. In fact, In hushed tones, tell him about the rumors that Farazan was talking about. You also mentioned that an eyewitness saw him searching for something in the House of Dana. They expected me to read that in 3 seconds. 3 seconds, they expected me to read that. How is it you guys know everything? And here I was thinking I'd been super discreet this whole time. No one should have even noticed. Come on, get real. You think that no one knows you live here? Hey, that's not fair. Of course nobody knows, except for Sino, Tainari, Kale, and the two of you, right? Friends are friends, so if they know, well, they know. But what if a stranger overheard us? It would be a disaster. It might even impact my career. Anyway, about that book. You believe it contains intel about hidden treasure, don't you? Looking to get rich quick, are we? Yeah. Are you offering to help find it? Shucks, why didn't you say so earlier? So there really is treasure. How about this? We help you find it, then split the loot 50-50. It's a deal. She just said it for him. Chrono, after all we've been through, it's finally our turn to get rich. No need to keep yapping. Hidden treasure. The Paimon probes homing in on ya. Huh? Hey, Paimon! Huh, is that Dia? Is it? Chrono and Paimon. No space between Chrono and. Must be my lucky day, running into you like this. Dia, your mercenaries are pretty tuned into the grapevine. Have you ever heard of a book called Reasoning Knows Not Time of Day, but Suspense Always Follows a Blizzard? Wait, you guys are looking for it too? By two, you don't mean you're looking for it too? Darn! It does. So, does that mean that we're finally gonna have to square off against Dia? Should be pretty easy. They haven't buffed her yet. Wait a minute. Would you mind telling me exactly why you're looking for it? Once more, you go over the rumors that Farazan told you. If it really does turn out to be something important, I'll be sure to let you know if I hear anything. What? Really? From your reaction before, Paimon thought you were after it too. Don't worry, a client had asked me to get her the book, but their attitude seemed off somehow, so I didn't take the commission. She's a smart cookie, though, and it was like she was hiding something, so I thought she must have had an ulterior motive. Besides, I have other things to look into right now. Compared to some commission, it's more important that you uncover the truth behind that book. Anyway, no time to lose. I've got to get going. Alright then, good luck. And don't forget to tell us if you hear anything. It's another everybody's here, but nobody has a voice. I wonder who Dia's client could be. Hey! How are you so fast? Flying's faster than running? Sorry, it's a traveler thing. I haven't been through so much, I run fast. And we teleport, but it doesn't work itself into the story ever. Ever. Ever do they mention that I can teleport or have it pop up in the story. Ever. Sorry, it's a traveler thing. Alright, listen to me. It's like this. Paimon, don't get your hopes up. That book, it isn't just some kind of treasure map. It's just an unbelievably unremarkable, surpassingly ordinary detective novel. Huh? But didn't you say there was treasure? If most people backtrack like that, Paimon just think they changed their mind and wanted to keep all the more for themselves. But that's not something you do. No, I'm sorry. I just couldn't bring myself to tell you earlier, so I played along with what you were saying. Here's what happened. I borrowed the book a month ago. When I opened it to the first page, I discovered one of the names was printed incorrectly. That night I'd been drinking, just a little, and I was starting to feel drowsy, so I picked up a pen and circled the name. As I'm sure you know, the House of Dana allows borrowers to annotate the books they take out. I'm in the habit of doing that too, so at the time I didn't give it a second thought. But after a dozen or so pages in, I realized that the names of all the characters in the books had intentionally been written slightly wrong. Maybe it would be more accurate to say that the novel itself was quite strange. All the characters' names are based on real historical figures, but rather than using their original names, they had been tweaked ever so slightly. Oh! It's like every anime ever. Or like Fate, where they use historical figures, but instead of like being like Attila the Hun, it's like an anime girl. Most people would assume that the author had made a mistake or that had been a printing error when they saw spelling mistakes like that. Like a lot of times in Genshin dialogue. Like when they called cats dogs. I didn't find the content particularly appealing, so I returned it before I finished reading it. But later on, I heard that the book had suddenly become the talk of the town, and that there were rumors about a mysterious treasure or something. And you thought it had something to do with you. It certainly does sound like it. Yeah, and I also heard that now all the names in the book have been circled, not just one. I just haven't been able to figure out what in Tevat must have happened after I returned it. Did you tell anyone else that you borrowed it? Let me think. Tainari? Last time we met, I also told him how poorly parts of the book were written. He said I'd made it sound pretty funny, so much so, in fact, that he suddenly wanted to take a look at it himself. You made it sound like it was so bad it's good. Oh, he made it sound like the room. You're tearing me apart, Lisa. That's a good impression, Paimon. In that case, let's go find Tainari. You're tearing this book apart, Lisa. That's fine with me, but I still have work to finish up, and it's pretty urgent. How about I head back first and we can meet up again later once I'm done? No problem. Hope your work goes well. Me too, thanks. See you later then. It'd be nice to have some more Kaveh content that's voice acted. Where are we going? I almost did it again. You know what this is? This is the quest that I almost keep going back to over and over and over again because it's in Sumeru. There we go. Again, the blue is surrounded by yellow, so I'm just attracted to the blinking thing. We're good. I didn't do it this time. Here I thought I wasn't gonna have to read today. I was like, two stories with no voice acting, or with all the voice acting. I actually can't remember off the top of my head what the new Tainari voice was. I'm just... Whoa.
You crashed?
I think it crashed. Tainari? There's a dog on the hill? Who broke it? There's a dog right here. Application not responding. Program may respond if you wait. No, I think it's done. Alright. That was weird. Launch it up. They're trying to prolong this even further. This has nothing to do, by the way, with the summer event. Why is it tied to the summer event? They could have just added a world quest in. But now this is a missable quest. Thankfully, this load doesn't take as long once you've done it once in the day. The only thing it had to do was Kale was like, hey, weird shit's going on, so I left. And even why was she there is another thing. Why did she show up to Storybook Land? All the people from Mondstadt? That makes sense. Because the book was in Mondstadt. And Klee lives in Mondstadt. And Alice invited her and her friends from Mondstadt. Is it going to crash again? Oh, cutscene started. And that's what happened. Over there! Over there! Hey, Tainari! I heard you. How's it going, Chrono and Paimon? You guys sure look excited. You tell Tainari about how you're looking for the novel, reasoning knows not the time of day, but suspense always follows a blizzard, and for some reason, we can control the pace of this. As you do so, you reflect once more on how absurdly long the title is, and how even just saying it aloud makes you feel tired. Ah, that one. Yes, I did go to the House of Dana to borrow it. Kabe said it wasn't worth reading, but I was curious, so I went and read it anyway. The problem was there was already 2 names circled in the book I borrowed, and the style each circle was different. It was like some kind of game. Someone had drawn a red circle around the name of the first character that appeared, then someone had drawn a green circle around another name. So in the time between Kabe returning the book and you taking it back out again, someone had already annotated it? That's right. Paimon's sure that the first circle was drawn by Kabe. Yes, no surprise there. If you stop and think about it for but just a second, guessing the identity of the second annotator should be trivial. Wait, you mean as... If there are 2 people living in a house and one of them drew the first circle, then it's highly likely that the other person left a mark too. Good point. Sometimes those 2 really are too much. In the end, it is as I suspected from the beginning. The first character whose name had been circled in the very first page turned out to be the murderer. Surely that's just a blatant spoiler? Like that joke where someone opens a novel and bam, there's a note in the margin that spoils everything right from the start. What kind of joke would be so cruel? That was one of Cyrus's, and it wasn't just a joke. He said he actually pulled a stunt like that when he was younger. Who was unlucky enough to borrow the book after he'd scribbled all over it? My master, Nephis, and Professor Zaha Hadid, who had a seminar with him that very afternoon. Cyrus said that Master once threatened to give him a good beating by the side entrance of the House of Dana. It was only thanks to my mother and Professor Zaha Hadid intervening that it didn't happen. Paimon doesn't sympathize with Cyrus at all, not one bit. The House of Dana has never stopped people from annotating books, but this seemed like a special case. I didn't think the book could be allowed to keep circulating like that. So I circled several names myself, laying a false trail. The best place to hide a leaf is in the forest. It's a simple principle. Well, when you put it like that... But still... How many names did you circle, Tainari? Let me think. Not too many. About 3 or 4? I chose them all randomly. Then who circled the other names in the book? There must have been others who borrowed it and did something similar. I'm just not sure why. Who'd have thought that borrowing books could be so complicated? Alright, let's go see if there's any other clues. We'll definitely be able to find out more by asking around.
Everyone hold hands.
I've been wanting to read some popular science books lately. Popular science? More like nerdular nerdance. That is a Homestar Runner joke. And it's, at this point in time, close to 20-something years old. Specifically, that video, I'd have to assume. Nilu and Hat Guy are in Sumeru. Well, there's Dia again. Look, there's Dia! Let's tell her what the real story is. Huh? Candace is there, too. So I need to reflect a little on what I did. Oh, what happened? To meet you here today is surely due to the guidance of the gods. Greetings. Candace, is this a personal trip? Today's trip to the city is to buy provisions for the people of Aru Village, as well as help Miss Sataria deliver a message to the sages of the Academia while I'm here. On the way, I happened to see Dia sitting in the cafe looking down, so I came over to chat with her. Don't worry, it's nothing serious. It's just that I suddenly remembered a few details about that book after talking with you. Before that client had even contacted me, I'd heard rumors of an exciting novel full of undiscovered secrets. Out of curiosity, I asked Sino to take it out for me. As a desert dweller and a mercenary to boot, the idea of solving a mysterious treasure map is pretty exciting. Mm-hmm. Paimon totally gets that. We inherited our custom of searching for the golden wisdom in the sands from the gods themselves. But that book turned out to be dry as dust. A bunch of names had been circled, but I still couldn't figure out what the puzzle was supposed to be despite just reading the whole thing through carefully from start to finish. In the end, I started to think it was some kind of ritual or game or something, so I picked up a pen and drew a circle of my own. But later on, Miss Dunyazard asked her parents to find a way to borrow it for her. She said the mysterious markings fascinated her, even though she couldn't get into the book itself. If they were just regular annotations, it wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary, but these strange circles, you can't help but want to try and figure out what they might mean. That's true. So, Dia, what you're reflecting on is having accidentally interfered with other people's reading experiences, is that correct? Mm-hmm. Wait, hold on a second. Why didn't you tell Candace? She's a warrior, you know. Sometimes she has to interrogate criminals and other things like that, too. Everyone recognizes that her job is sacred, so when we need to think over what we've done wrong, we talk to her about it. Please, don't be too surprised, my dear traveler, Chrono. To me, listening to other people's mistakes is just another way of protecting them. Oh, she keeps talking about her god. People are confessing to her. I need to confess something, Candace. Can I sit down with you guys? Just for a little while. By speaking of your own mistakes and hearing sincere advice in return, improvement will come over time. That's the way we do things. But all she did was draw a circle. And it's not like she was deliberately trying to mess with anyone. Besides, everyone agrees that the book itself is just bad. Don't worry about it, Dia. That's true. I was just telling Candace how bizarre it is. But be that as it may, it doesn't change the fact that it just ain't right to mess with someone else's enjoyment of a book. That's the bottom line. Candace wouldn't say ain't. Who wrote this? They sure didn't write it with the voice actor in mind. Anyway, Dia, please have faith that the gods will forgive your transgression. Besides, you told me about a part of the story where one of the suspects in the case ended up crawling out of the village on his hands and knees, and he was named Al-Amal. That's right. The detective in the book argued that he must have leapt across the broken bridge like a frog. Of course, you find out later on that his conjecture was totally off base. Find out later on, his conjecture was totally off base. Okay. I was like, there's a pause there, and I missed it completely. Why is that? Because it turns out Al-Amal has a superpower, so he could float right across the broken bridge. What the heck is the book even about? It's completely ludicrous. Al-Amal, it's simply too reminiscent of the good name of King Deshret. Yeah, Al-Amar. Don't you think? Though considering how transgressive this book sounds, I don't think it's worth overthinking it. You're right. You know, I can't help but wonder what our friends at the Temple of Silence would say if they somehow got their hands on this book. I'm sure those sages would be unable to unpack interesting ideas from the text we ordinary people could scarce dream of. It's normal for there to be bridges outside blizzard-swept mountain villages and normal for them to get broken, but for a person to cross one by floating through the air? Why resort to such a lame plot device? Is it really a serious detective novel? Sounds more like something out of a comic strip. Paimon's starting to wonder starting to get where Farazan is coming from. If you'd gotten all excited about reading a detective novel, but ended up reading a tripe like that instead, better not even think about it. So, where's the book now? Not sure. I returned it after I was done reading it, and back then there weren't as many markings inside as the rumors say there are. Alright, then Detective Paimon is still on the case. Paimon's feeling lost. Maybe we should go check at the House of Dana? Not before I read the women's minds. I haven't been around here in a long time. It hasn't changed a bit.
Hey!
Sure didn't expect things to turn out like this. I'll have to be a bit more careful next time. Say the line, Nahida!
I see everything.
I was gonna say the other thing. Wait for it.
Everyone hold hands.
You two specifically. Okay. Going back to here. This is not the House of Dana. Sorry, I just expected the teleport to take me to a place that was good and not bad. Hmm. Oh, I'm a fool. It's like way inside the tree. Why didn't it teleport me here then? Hello! Has reasoning knows not the time of day, but suspense always follows a blizzard been returned yet? There are 2 copies of this book. One's been marked up, the other hasn't. I'm guessing you're looking for the one with the marks? Oh, you saw right through us. Many others have asked for it too. I apologize though, it seems it hasn't been returned yet. Please come back again later. Can't you at least tell us who borrowed it? Well, as long as it isn't overdue, we'll wait patiently for it to be returned. Disclosing borrowers' identities without proper reason for doing so would be a violation of professional ethics, so you'll have to forgive me for keeping that information confidential. You've got a point. It would be terrible if someone looking to steal a book started harassing whoever borrowed it. Oh my god. Here it comes. The brain's gone. How long have I been going for? 2.5 hours? Brain down! Hey, you two look as confused as a couple of Aranara who've just run into each other head first. Are you looking for something? I can help. I don't know who this is, I'm just giving him a weird fucking voice. That's Nahita's voice! Hi there. Nahita, have you heard of a book called Reasoning Knows Not the Time of Day, but Suspense Always Follows a Blizzard? Mid-sentence, I was like, am I going to do that voice for Nahita now? Nah. Such a long name, but yes, I know the one you mean. I heard that everyone's taking a look for it, was looking for it, and it sounded fascinating, so I found a brand new copy to read myself. By brand new, do you mean it was the copy with all the markings on it? Well, their voices are too similar. Uh-oh, it's gonna be 2 squeaks talking back and forth to each other. Yes, that's right. I was more interested in the content of the book itself than all those rumors about hidden treasure. So an unmarked copy was all I needed. Speaking of which, it's funny. There's more than one copy of this book, but everyone's looking for the one where all the names have been circled. Are they all afraid of spoilers, or do they actually crave them? Oh, then do you know who has the copy with the markings right now? I just so happen to have seen it in the hands of one of your friends. If you're looking for the copy that sparked all the rumors, you should look around near the palace of Alcazar. Bye, Nahita. Thanks for that good voice acting. Love to see it. Love to hear it. That is sure how Nahita sounds. Okay, so Palace of Alcazar is the place that Kabe built. It's in his idle animation, actually. We don't have Kabe, right? I think I'd remember if I had Kabe. I don't have the poor boy. Nah. That's a shame. I didn't pull for Al-Haytham, so he would have been boosted at that point. I didn't want Al-Haytham. He's a good character. He's really fucking good, in fact, but I didn't want him. Oh, we're gonna talk to Dory now? Dory must have been looking for some money thing going on. Wait, is that Sino as well? And I've forgotten his name, but it'll sure pop up on the screen. Huh? Dory? Sino? And Sethos? New character, who dis? Forgot his name because he's so new. I also didn't notice that his shoes have, like, spurs without the spurs. They're like boots. Boots with the spurs, except they don't have spurs.
I was gonna make that joke. Mad.
And nobody has spurs. Darn you, General Mahamatra. Entrapment isn't gonna work. You can't do that. Hey, what do you mean by entrapment? You were the one who said you had the book. I said I just wanted to read it. Then you agreed to meet me here. Sino showing up too was just a coincidence. Pure coincidence. You don't play games with me. I know who you are. You're that new kid Sethos, right? I know you're a friend of Sino's. Huh, so you do know who I am. I saw Sino was chasing you around, trying to get you to play cards, and how you found an excuse to run off after a couple of rounds right after. That left quite an impression. You didn't have to mention that. No, I think Dory's right about that. You always look for a way out when it comes to playing Invocation. It's becoming quite a problem. Oh, Chrono and Paimon, you've been staying there for quite a while. Oh, if it isn't my dear Chrono and Paimon, what brings you to the Palace of Alcazar's? Might it be that you've come to do business with me, the Lord Sangamabe? Ha ha ha, of course, of course. Please give me a moment to conclude our business here, then I'll be with you straight away. Anyway, General Mahamatra, as I'm sure you are well aware, the means by which I had someone borrow this book from the House of Dana were both completely legal and perfectly reasonable. Seeing as it isn't yet time to return it, you have no right to forcibly seize a book I borrowed. That would only be the case had you not engaged in any irregular activities. Yet just now, a buyer, Sethos, came to the Palace of Alcazar's on the basis of a mysterious message to meet a seller, hoping in vain to purchase a detective novel. What do you mean by buyer? He's one of your people. You sent him here deliberately to try to buy it and entrap me. That is not something I can acknowledge. What I can tell you is that I've had my eyes on this book for some time. Remember, it is forbidden to transfer or sell books from the House of Dana without explicit approval from the relevant authorities. I'm not selling anything. Just to be clear, I'm just making the most of an opportunity. If someone pays me a little for something on the side, I lend them this mysterious little novel to browse for a bit. If you don't believe me, just ask any of my curious readers. Yes, that's right, your readers. Anyway, I was just showing him the book. Is that so? And here I was thinking you were really going to go through with an illegal transaction like this, Sethos. Huh? Wait, what? You two really aren't together? I was just really curious about this book. I finally managed to track it down, but Sino... it's true that Dory never actually said she wanted to sell the book. So she isn't the mastermind who started all this. The mastermind? So by your own account, it looks like you might have jumped the gun a bit, General Mahamatra. I'm not handing the book over. Huh. You may think you played an ace story. When you opened the book just now, I saw the truth revealed before me. The book's return date is today. That Sino's sure got sharp eyes. That's right, I do have good vision. I have the best vision ever. I'm so fucking cool. You have less than an hour before the book is overdue. Give it to me, and I will return it. How could I just hand it over to you like that? This is a mysterious, super awesome, mega amazing paragon of illogical detective novels that is practically a treasure. I'm gonna make a fortune off of it. Should you really be admitting that out loud? I didn't say I was gonna sell it. It's not like I was being serious. Then how about this? Dory, Sino, why don't you two play a little game with the book as the stakes? That's one way of solving it. How about it, Dory? Do you dare accept the challenge? If you win, I'll turn a blind eye to the book for the time being. and if you lose, you have to hand it over. Oh, sounds interesting. Very well, I'm in. What's the contest? Are both of you confident in your powers of mental recall? My memory's not bad. Yes. And you have both read the contents of this book, correct? That's right. Huh? Sino, you've actually read it? Oh, well, needless to say, so have I. In that case, I'll just open up the book and flip through the pages, and you tell me how many names have been circled. Best out of 3 wins. Sound good? Eh? That's nuts! What? Chickening out? No, it's a game on. No, it's game on. Let's go. Good, in that case, the first page. 6. 6. Both correct? Next, the second page. I think it was 4? I'd say 4. Oh, both of you are right again. 2 draws, so it all hangs on the next question. Listen up. Oh? Page 61. What? That, I don't quite remember. 7? I know. The answer is 5. Absolutely correct. The answer is 5. Sino, is your memory really that good? I'm not buying it. How did you do that? It's not actually because I have good memory, but because the circling of the names left a deep impression on me. After I borrowed it, I noticed the names on the first few pages had been selectively circled by different people. Each person's penmanship was different, and moreover I recognized 3 of the circles as been drawn by Tainari. Few others use the same color of ink as he does, so it was instantly recognizable. You even know that? Yes, I learned of the habit of his long ago. At that time, I had just been promoted General Mahamatra, and would go to a secret base whenever I wanted to get through all the trivial tasks in my in-tray at once with minimal disturbances. In-tray? I would often find Tainari hidden away on a tree there doing his homework, noticing the writing implements he favored wasn't exactly detective work. In all these years, he's never once changed the ink he uses. Back to the book. Anyone who's read it knows that the first name circled is the real murderer. Perhaps Tainari did not want the plot to be spoiled by anyone else, so he circled other names. Annotating or marking a book is not in itself a violation of book borrowing regulations, but why are all the others marked there? Is there some conspiracy behind them? What do they have to do with Tainari? I want to get to the bottom of this, even if it's just for the sake of my friend, and to uncover the secret you must become a part of the conspiracy. So I circled all the other names that were left in the book. What? To think you'd do such a thing! So there's no treasure at all? It was just you guys all along! That's right. Should you wish to hide a grain of sand, bury it in the desert. And in that grain of sand I can catch a glimpse of the truth. And so you were drawn to it, making your plans, yet in a twist of fate, were discovered by me. No matter how vast this world is, you cannot run from the long arm of the law. Wow, you're making a meal out of this, aren't you? You really, really have way too much time on your hands. Okay, I give up. You win. That's enough for today. It's time for Lord Sangama Bay to return to her room for some repose. Farewell, all. So, do you intend to take this book back to the Temple of Silence? I heard there was a treasure hidden inside and thought it might have something to do with the temple. I never thought that the real story was behind it. But when you agreed to compete, I had already surmised you were familiar with this book. That's why I chose that particular format. Brilliant move, bro. Bro? Brilliant move, bro. Huh? What's with that look? We're just thinking, there have been more twists and turns in the story behind the book than the actual story itself. Well, as long as you got it back, I'll leave uncovering the rest of the secrets to you, and take my leave for now. See you later, everyone. Can I borrow the book? Of course. After Sino hands you the book, you and Paimon quickly thumb through it. Though you weren't reading very carefully, you can tell that something's not quite right. The plot is wildly imaginative, and just as everyone says, though most of the names in the book seem familiar, On closer inspection, you realize that they aren't actually the names of the historical figures you thought they were at first. Not only that, but every name has been circled. Thinking back on the course of events, you fall silent, and then you explain the full story. How unexpected. But still, it does make sense, and it is far better than the existence of an actual conspiracy. In that case, I still have other plans. Last time I was at Caravan Rabat, I promised I'd meet Dia and Candace for drinks. Chrono, could I trouble you to return the book for me? Sure, leave that to me. Thanks, friend. Sure is a full-blown fucking quest here with no voice acting, and a lot of people showing up. People that have voice actors. Oh, yeah. Do I have the book on my person right now? I want this horrible book. Oh, these are the things I read earlier. Yeah, I'm not gonna reread those. We're going back to the House of Dana. How could I have been so foolish? Bro, there just needs to be a fucking teleport in here. That's all I'm saying. Just let me teleport in here. Obnoxious. Like, even with Yelan sprinting, it takes a while to get there. We're finally back. Now let's return the book. You really found the book? Amazing. I've been waiting here for it to be returned so I could see it as soon as possible. You recount the entire tale to Kave's eager ears. Seriously? How is that even possible? I circled the actual murderer? I was pretty surprised by the whole thing, too. Let's just take care of that book problem first. Hello, this book, it's probably all my fault for using permanent ink to mark a page, since that caused a whole mess of other things to happen. Now it's all marked up like this, and there's even a risk of those marks spoiling the story, so I'd like to buy it. The whole issue should be avoidable if the Academia uses the money to buy a new copy. Would you please consider my proposal? Mr. Kave, your idea has merit, and it is indeed a good way to resolve the situation. I'll confirm the book's price now, and then you can pay over there. That's great, thank you so much. Shortly afterwards, Kave accompanies the Academia staff to register the purchase of the book and pays the full amount. The staff member carefully wraps up the thoroughly marked up book and gives it to him. What a blunder. Regardless, thank you so much for all your help. It was nothing, we were just kind of along for the ride. Still, Kave, it'd be better if you use something more erasable to make notes in the future. I understand. I'll never let myself subconsciously correct typesetting errors ever again. No, I mean, I'll never again borrow a book with such a long name. At least for a while. Alhaitham, you're here. I was looking everywhere for you. What is it? Guess what I've got in this little bag here? If I had to guess, a young man's tears of regret. And what would you know? Its reasoning knows not time of day, but suspense always follows a blizzard. You actually bothered to memorize a ridiculous and boring name like that. That's just because when I was filling out the paperwork to buy it back at Academia's office, I had to write it out over and over. Then it looks like the book has a new owner. Only because I subconsciously marked up the book with ink. Did you know that Tainari, Dia, and Sino all circled names in the book? And it all started because the name I circled was the real killer? To be perfectly honest, the moment I saw the murderer's name circled, I knew this would happen. Wait a second. How come you've read the book too? I had the pleasure of reading it in the House of Dana. The logic is a mess. It's poorly written. And you left the book out in the study. So you knew I circled the killer. Then, did you circle any names in the book? What do you think? So you did! The second one is mine. Why? The best way to avoid spoilers is to add a red herring. Then why just one? Tainari circled 3! I already significantly reduced the probability of the murderer's identity being spoiled for the next reader. That's more than enough. No need to worry about things that are beyond saving. And just why isn't it necessary? Using permanent ink to circle a name on the first page. That's obviously beyond saving. What kind of logic is that? I bet you just drew your circle for fun. If I must say so, then it's because the circling of the names is far more interesting than the book itself. Fair point. In the end, I only have myself to blame for using up all the pencils. I need to go buy some more. Congratulations! This one-of-a-kind, out-of-print book, personally penned by the hands of so many, is now yours. Do you think I look happy about it? I don't even want it. If it was Paimon, she wouldn't want it either. That's a no for me too, dog. And that's it. Completely unrelated story to the summer event, and is gone in, let me check, checks notes, 2 days, 23 hours. Why? Who can say? This is their house, right? I think that's their house. I think this is the house that we actually got, we got trapped in the dream in. So many memories. Okay. So I think that's it. Let me just double check. Yerp. We did it. We didn't get the book as a reward? Why the fuck not? Hang on. How can you have a quest about a book and not get the book after, like, Kaveh says he doesn't want it and he just tosses it and we get it? Brr. I think this is their house, actually.
Take it easy.
I was looking at the wrong house. Alhaitham wouldn't live in a house the size of his head. Although it is pretty big. Alright, I think that'll do it. That was pretty fun. I kind of wish I really wish that quest had voice acting. I think it would have benefited majorly from it. Seeing a lot of familiar faces in Sumeru was nice. Again, completely unrelated to the summer event, and they honestly could have just added that as a world quest, and I think it would have been fine. Like, the only requirement I think you need is that you've completed the Nahida quest, and she's not trapped anymore. You have to consider money. I don't need to. Money is no object with me, unless something costs $40 million. Hang on. There we go. Now, can I collect my dailies here? Before I forget. Surely I did enough. There we go. Nice. Wait a minute, there was something else there. Oh, it's just telling me to go here.
Add Astra.
Oh, voice acting, wow!
Thank you for Add Astra.
Sorry, I'm just like doing the rest of my dailies on stream.
There'll be an extra fee.
So yeah, that's the summer event. We, I think, completed it more or less 100%. And all it took was 3 streams. About 10 hours. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more. Around 10 hours. We got a new outfit for Kirara. We got Kirara in general. That's neat. She's not great, but I like her well enough. She'll go in the teapot. Yeah, everything's done. Just in time. So, I think next thing I'll do, not today, but soon, is going to be tomorrow is going to be a multiplayer with the guys stream, I think. Unless there's some dropout, I'll have to ask. Like if a couple people aren't able to make it, we'll see what happens. But most likely we're going to try out Pilgrim or Lethal Company. Because Lethal Company had an update, and as long as the mods are working, we're probably going to do that. If not, we're going to try out Pilgrim. But if there's some scheduling issues, if Shoji's down, I could do Elden Ring. And if everybody falls through, then I can do Paper Mario. And then, because I'd like to get back into that. I'm glad I got the summer event done.
Whether it takes me uphill, downhill, or out to the sticks, I get the goods from A to B. I'll even take them across the sea if needed. So don't worry, you're in safe hands. They don't call me the alley-oop.
They don't call me the alley-oop. Alright, but that's gonna do it. They actually have to pay people to voice act. Oh, right, that's what you're talking about when it comes to money. Okay. That makes sense. Well, they didn't have to pay me. And I did it. For free! I did it poorly, too. And that's even more free. It's worse than free. It's a toll on the ears. So yeah, that's the sort of plan for the coming days. Tomorrow is going to be a multiplayer stream. I'll let you know what it's going to be when I know. And then in the upcoming future, it's going to be mostly Paper Mario, Elden Ring, and popping on Zenless Zone Zero to just sort of progress the story on that a little bit. But that's it for this stream. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. And yeah, more soon. Not used to ending the streams this early, but gonna let my voice take a rest, because otherwise I'd pop over to Paper Mario for another 3 hours, but that would just be 3 more hours of me talking. So I'm not gonna be doing that. What do you mean? Nahita's voice was canon accurate. What's going on, everybody? It's me! Can you guess who I am? It's the same thing whenever you're reading a book and they say an entire sentence and then they say who said it at the end of that sentence. When you're reading a book, that writing style does not fucking work, because you're just like reading and you're like, who's fucking saying this? What voice is my head assigning to this line of dialogue? And it's you find out it's a little girl and not like a burly man. Anyway, I'm gonna stop the stream. Thanks for coming. Hope you had fun. More videos, more streams soon. So bye bye.